Good morning, everybody.
Hello! Shooketh. Welcome to Books You Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Jason. And today,
We are discussing all of and the last third of Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister.
it's true.
If you have not read up to this portion, we suggest that you stop right now before we ruin everything for you. And go read and then get caught back up. We've got this book playlisted for you in the playlist section of our YouTube channel. We had split it into 3 weeks, as we do most books, but possibly not our next book.
I just told her what our next book is. I'll tell you in a minute. I will.
Anyways, we have a lot of other books playlisted for you in the playlist section of our channel. Lots of things to read. Another book in the same genre of Mom Traum, if you enjoyed this one, by the same author. And we are on YouTube Music as a podcast and Instagram for the memes. And we're ready to get going. It sounds like Peggy did not like the book.
I am also considering a TikTok. You can live stream on TikTok just like you can on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be fun to try double trying. I don't know if people are on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I don't understand it. Everybody who works for me is 10 years younger, and they are all on TikTok, and they really think that we should be doing TikTok streaming.
I was on TikTok kind of when it first got big, just for like dog TikToks.
Yeah, dog talk.
And I just watched hours and hours of dog videos, and I had to delete it off my phone because I just couldn't get off my phone.
Yep. All right, anyway, enough talk. So what's up? Here we
Hot
are
take.
at the end of this book.
I liked it.
That's a hot take.
Because I liked it because
Uh-huh.
I'm not disappointed in the thriller aspect of it or the crime aspect of it. Because I recognize this book for what it is. Mm-hmm. It is mom traum. Mm-hmm. That's what we're focusing on here. Mm-hmm. It is exploring the difficulties and the stressors of parenthood, mom and dad traum, relationships themselves, and the traumas that we incur throughout those relationships. Mm-hmm. That's what this book is about. Mm-hmm. It's about exploring people's lives, how we deal with trauma. Also, there was a crime involved.
Yes. Sure. It's mom traum, and we got the mom traum part here. And I'm gonna be honest, I really enjoyed the first week. I was like in it. I enjoyed, like, it was fast paced. I enjoyed like doing the mystery and everything. I enjoyed the second week where we were starting to learn more, especially like Nigel. I enjoyed following him around or whatever. And then the third week ruined it. I don't like this book. It's not going to even cut halfway on the book list.
I'll never think about this book again, but I enjoyed reading it.
I wish I hadn't finished. Like, if we had just like read 2 weeks and then I was just like, man, I wish I had finished that book, I would like it. But I agree with all the points about mom traum. But like, if the idea is that like we want to present these like ideas and sort of this investigation of the mom traum, I just think there's a better canvas, because I do care about like the crime part and the thriller part, and boy howdy, it was a letdown. And I think
it was fine. It had a National Treasure ending. Someone has to go to jail. We need to make a little lie, to cover up this part so that the good people don't go to jail. So that was interesting. This was it's a very safe way to explore the traumas of growing up, adulthood, having children, having marriage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a safe way to do it. If you want the not safe way, go read Hurricane Season. That's the non-safe way.
We're not joking. Yeah, I just, like, okay, I'm on board with the mom trauma idea. There are probably other books in this genre that we have invented that have the same concept. But okay, fine. I think that the murder mystery took away from the mom traum. Because, number one, it is the answer was the second guess I ever. Well, the first real guess I made that like wasn't angels, and I'm still salty about it. But like whatever.
We're gonna have AI write another version.
It was the first. It was the first guess that everybody had. I think it was like terribly obvious that that was the direction that we were going. It just it's my dog is doing something. It's just it was something like in the end it was just like, oh my god, these two people are like related and we just could not have known. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't understand. Like I get who the cop was. I get that part. Whoever his like sister was, I don't know, didn't care.
Mom of the kid that got killed.
Yeah, I mean, just like some lady that we've never met, right? So it's the right guess, just like in a method that you could never guess or whatever. Anyway, but then we like meet up with what's his name, the husband, Luke, right? Okay, I thought the whole thing where like Luke is the one who really wrote the book and he's like giving hints to his wife. I thought that was all very cool. Should I go check on her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something weird's happening in there.
Where you at?
I'm reading the chat, getting caught up.
She was trying to get under her bed where she thought something was.
Oh.
You did that.
I did do that.
Anyway, but so my point being is that I thought that part was like kind of cool, and like if you're saying like National Treasure, like there's like this thing, right? There's like art, like it is very National Treasure. Like there's this art that has hints, and you're following the clues. And if this had turned into like a treasure hunt sort of thing, and like that's how we found Luke, that might have been cool. But instead, it's just like I'm trying to tell you the story because I can't tell you the story because I'm hiding from everybody because this crime family is going to kill me. Hang on, this is not a crime family. This is a family that does crime. This is not a crime family. These are some chuckleheads who send their son out to murder a kid.
That was terrible.
Then when somebody gets involved... This is your turn.
Yeah, I'll go fix it.
They send their son out to kill somebody. He like does it. He gets bopped on accident by some random person. And then when Luke leaves and he comes back, then they see him. They don't necessarily know that he's involved in their son dying. And then they see this guy who's now like a random dude. And they're just like, that's the guy who killed our son. We're going to kill him.
Came back to the crime scene and went to the funeral.
Yes. But they don't know for sure that he's the one who killed their kid. They don't know that.
Right.
They're just guessing. And so now this like very methy family is trying to kill Luke. Okay, fine. Okay, and the kid's uncle works in the police force, right? This is dangerous. I need to hide from my family for 7 years because I can't call the British FBI. Your man wrote a book about a judge. Hey, judge, you know me.
Right.
I'm not schizophrenic. Some people are trying to kill me. I know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
What are we like?
So that part, the whole reason that he was hiding is another point that I wrote down. Men, typically have poorly developed frontal lobes. They develop way late in life.
He's like 40.
Yeah, his didn't come in. So kind of the idiocy of men here. Like truly, first of all, if you see a crime happen, call the cops. Second of all, if you tried to help first and someone else died, still call the cops. You didn't have fingerprints on the gun. You don't have gunpowder on your fingers. You obviously did not shoot that person. Uh-huh. It's fine. Call the cops.
You don't even have to admit to like killing the kid like by pushing him over or whatever. I'm just saying like, hey, somebody's trying to kill me. Whatever, right? And, like I don't know. And like if they're a crime family, you can just be like, can y'all look into that? And they'll be like, wow, there's meth everywhere or whatever, right? I'm just saying. And like no, we cannot blame this on his frontal lobe. We can blame this on bad writing. Right, like Luke does not have a poorly developed frontal lobe. That is not true. We had to have some conceit to have this story because, like, there was just not a better idea. And I could probably do you one right now, right? I just like randomly made it the National Treasure thing, right? But like he hid out from his family for 7 years, and like
he's an idiot.
Well, and he didn't even like leave town, right? He's like doing odd jobs on some broken laptop in some windowless room for 7 years because he's in London still, and they have CCTV everywhere, and they can figure this out. And like he missed his 7 years of his daughter's life because he's afraid some like random dudes.
Because he's an idiot. He was so lighthearted and funny and never worried about anything.
Okay, but that's exactly the sort of person who would call the next level.
He's just an idiot. And she loves her little idiot so much. So that's another one of my questions is, what is the extent of love there? Like, if my husband had disappeared for 7 years, I'd be like, yeah, what I knew of him, he was a great guy. Must have been an idiot. Time to move on. What is that capacity there? That's incredible.
I mean, I guess you're onto something, right? Like
this should be a sweet love story. That she knew that something wasn't right with her little idiot. She knew this little idiot had to still be around somewhere, and she just loved him so much.
This is also a situation where, like, I'm not saying that it is often safer to be in police custody, because that is not true. But this is a situation where, like, it would have been safer to be in police custody, and if he was concerned that they were going to, like, pick him up because he called her and explained everything, he should call her and explain everything.
Yeah.
And then get picked up.
The concern there was, though, that they would go in and shoot too fast. That's what Niall kept being worried about.
Okay, fine. But you can control that. Don't let them go in anywhere. You walk into the police station. You walk into a public square. You walk into a church and hold a sign above your head that says, "I am Luke. Please come get me." You make it very public. Yeah. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. Poorly developed frontal lobe.
And so fine, whatever. They shoot you. You thought that was happening anyway. No surprise there. I don't know. On top of that, if we want to play the Luke is dumb card, there is a place where I think that all of this so far is, I disagree. However, the part where like he's like, these people are trying to kill me, so I'm gonna go meet them at the warehouse or whatever, that was dumb. I still don't understand why he did it.
Why'd he show up? Yeah.
Okay, because here's what happens, right?
They were all up in his house.
There's some meth cops. They're trying to kill you. They've got these like two goons. They're trying to kill you. They tell you, meet us over here at whatever time, or whatever the deal is, right? So, because he figures all this out. So you know where they're at? Call the FBI. Call them cops. Let's do it. It's... I don't know. I mean, like, why was he there in the first place? Unarmed. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. So Peggy's saying he did still kill 2 people. Well, so 3 people, right? Because he killed the kid on accident and then kills the 2 guys. Mm-hmm. Are we sure that he killed those 2 guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. Fine. Just say you didn't. Say that the crime lady did it. Ta-da!
Mm-hmm. Oh, because by the end of this, we lied anyway. So, another, with, like, where he was living and who... Yeah, so, whatever. Another thing I got out of this is, like, how things change, like, throughout marriage, throughout parenthood, how you learn to love the other person in different ways and for different reasons. And, like, there are things that happen that permanently change the way you see each other and the way you see yourselves. And again, it had to be told through this situation. But in reality, this happens with everybody, just not over, like, an extreme, you were missing for 7 years because you killed someone thing. Mm-hmm. It just happens organically over time. But I thought that was a fun little exploration. That mostly happened in her, like her narration, the last 6 minutes of the book. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was interesting.
I checked out by that point. I don't remember that part at all. I thought it was kind of fun, I guess, that like Nigel or Niall or whatever his name is and his girlfriend, wife, are in Indonesia or whatever, and they're like doing spy stuff. Like, I guess that's cool because
he's teaching. He's teaching.
Yeah, but like I guess it's cool because he's kind of doing now what she like always thought he was doing, and they're doing it together. I don't know. I mean, like, that was a weird part. I don't know why it was like in there at all, but like
because we were supposed to care about Niall and him remarrying his first wife.
Good luck, homie.
So funny. There's a quote at the end that you pay a price for happiness. It's worth it, but you still pay it. And so that was like a quote from the book that she's just like nesting and stuff. I guess I don't know. I don't know what she's doing.
You gave her a
When I went in there, she was just laying, looking,
That's fine.
looking sweet. Anyways, that's a quote that's been kind of rattling around in my head, and I think that was supposed to be something that we were supposed to make connections with throughout the book. The price that you pay for happiness, like thinking of her sister and all that. Her sister's married to a jerk. I don't know. He's just weird. I don't like him.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's, like, basically not a character.
Yeah.
But he wasn't terribly likable for, like, the one time we
The
saw
one
him
time
hanging
I saw
out.
him.
And
Yeah, he's just weird. And, oh, I had one more thing. No. Well. Oh, yeah. She shot Charlie.
This is, yeah, she did shoot Charlie. Charlie's, like, weird, gross, and, like, whatever. I don't think anybody was shocked, but, like, you know, because I really thought Charlie was, and I don't remember why, but I thought Charlie was related to the dude or whatever from part 2. But look, let's jump over first. So Shelby's saying that she doesn't agree about paying a price for happiness, and Peggy's saying that happiness isn't free. That's true. I think I disagree with everybody. I think happiness is free. I do, because I think it's a choice. And I'm not saying it's like an easy choice necessarily, and so I guess you could call that a cost, but I'm not sure I would. But like, you can be happy. I know lots of happy people who are in like what I would consider really terrible situations. And I don't know. I don't even know that quote is relevant to this book. I'm I'm glad it's there.
Well, but I mean, she fought, for 7 years to find her husband, like to hang on to knowing that he was a good person, that he didn't really do what they thought he did, to have this family that she had for 8 months, to get that back together again.
Yeah.
And that's how she justifies everything she went through, that she is happy now, and happiness has a price.
She's happy right now. But, like, your boy's got some trauma. You got some trauma.
Oh, yeah. He's, like, not funny anymore. He's
Yeah.
not... he doesn't
look,
work
all
anymore.
I'm saying is if you're just like, I guess the 7 years was worth it because now we're happy. Like, well, okay, well, slow down.
Well, no, they were happy before. But they weren't happy during the 7 years because he was missing and everything was built on a lie.
Yeah, but, like, I don't even know that they were happy before. Like, they had good times, sure. Like, I'm not saying they were unhappy. But, like, they were really struggling with the baby and all that stuff. And, like, there was problems and with her sister. I mean, like, I don't know, just keep on going. But, like, okay, sure. That was, like, the happiest time in your life. I don't know that you're going back. Like, I just don't know.
Well, and that's a good point, too, is that, like, things in hindsight are always different than they are in the moment. You can never go back to anything.
Because, like, what happens when they're, like, 3 years in, right? And he has he's drinking, not a lot, but he's drinking, and he's not really writing anymore, and he's just kind of hanging out, and he's just not happy, and he's like, like bog standard British man in a story or whatever, right? Where you're just like, rah, 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 rah. I mean, he becomes that. And what happens then when she's like, when I was happiest? It's when that guy wasn't around for 7 years. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying.
No, that's true, and that'll be the second book.
Oh my God.
What's the opportunity cost
Well,
when you've chosen happiness? You're missing out on the sadness?
Well, but there's a possibility of greater happiness that you are discounting, right? And because you could be just like justifying this. You could be like, well, I'm happy, so like the cost is worth it. But like, you're in an okay relationship. You could be in a fantastic relationship. I mean, I don't know. I agree that there is an opportunity cost. I'm not sure that I would consider that a cost. But anyway, regardless, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, it was a thing. I'm glad we tried it. Yeah. The first one's better. The
Oh yeah,
Wrong Place, Wrong Time. That book is great. If you want mom trauma, if you want these concepts that we think she is trying to push into this book, but you want it in a story that will keep you interested, that's the one. I'd rank Wrong Place, Wrong Time #1 by this author, and I'd rank this one #5. These are the only 2 books she's ever written.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's the only 2 books I'm aware of.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes.
It was. I mean, it was fine though. It was like unexpected that like love did pull through. You know, like if you're thinking what we would expect to happen is more like Girl on the Train. He's been, you know, gaslighting her this whole time, running some kind of crime life, like, that kind of thing. But it wasn't. This was a simple misunderstanding made by a stupid man, sweet but stupid, and how their whole lives, you know, changed around it.
Yeah. And I don't even know that I would agree that, like, love pulled through. Trauma did. Like, if anything, trauma did. She needed this to be over. It wasn't because she, like, loved him so much. She was like, oh my god, I'm going to go find him now. Like, she still didn't, like, really know the story. He could be lying to her in the book. There's no reason for us.
Totally could
there
be
is
lying
no
to her.
reason to think that we're not going full verity on this, right? I'm just saying. She needed this to be over. She needed him to be dead, or she needed him to be home.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, those were the options. And it was the not knowing that was killing her. I'm just mind boggled by. I mean, like, I feel like last weekend was a long time ago. Imagine 7 years of you just, like, being like, I can't tell anybody. Just like, come on, bro. If you were married to somebody who was like, I'm gonna stay in hiding in a windowless room for 7 years because of this, and like, you found out, right? Like, okay, fine, so it's happening, right? And at the end, you're like, you did what? You should leave him. If I hid out for 7 years for this reason,
Mm-hmm.
you should leave me.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't blame you. That's the right answer.
Well, and because he knew who broke into their house, and he never reported it. Like, the whole thing. It's just so dumb.
Well, and, like, he didn't know, right? It took him a while to figure out, like, exactly the names of the people. But, like, he knew where they were generally at. You could find the CCTV. I mean, like, I'm just... Give me, like, 3 minutes. I could figure this out.
Yeah, Luke could have, like, made his way elsewhere out in the country or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so Shelby's also saying, like, I don't get why Luke didn't try to move on. Agreed. So, like, here he is, terrified of Meth Cop, and he's like, I'm not... He's like, you could have moved to France and just been French now. Like, you could have gone to... I mean, you could have done anything. And instead, it's like, hold up, and you're like, what's the plan? I guess the plan is to eventually, like, write this whole book. You could have wrote a poem. You could have wrote, like, a number cipher. You could have drawn a picture.
Well, apparently he wrote this book in, like, one night.
That's true. That is true.
And he just wrote down what happened, basically. And then got it to her. Like, he wrote it the day before he sent it to her.
Can we please call Miss McAllister and ask her if this book is a cry for help? Right? Like, are you trying to tell me something? So, anyway. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I did enjoy the first 2 chapters, the first 2 sections. I would recommend stopping there personally, but yeah, they can't all be winners in my mind. But they can be winners in everybody else's, and that's okay.
Like I said, this isn't gonna stay like in my top 10 list of books I've ever read.
Nah.
But I don't regret reading it. It was like interesting, entertaining, and love.
I might regret reading it.
It didn't take long. It was only like 3 hours.
I think it's the worst part. Yeah, I guess I feel like for 3 weeks I basically didn't read, and what I did read was this, and like I could have been reading something fun.
Well, so speaking of which, tell us what we're reading next.
Yeah, we are reading next. Hang on. Some of y'all might have read this already. I'm sorry, it's very popular. We've never read
I've
this.
never heard of it.
And so I kind of wanted to revisit. So we revisited. I did pick this book. I'll be honest. This one right here, Famous Last Words. That was a me pick ultimately.
Oh yeah.
Or I gave you that name and then you chose it. So I've got another pick, and we are going to be reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. And what I'm trying to do here is revisit a genre that we also liked, and this is very similar to The Midnight Circus. by all accounts, and it's basically a story of two magicians in like Victorian times England trying to bring magic back to England because it used to be there, basically. So anyway, I don't really know anything about it other than there is a Netflix show of it, and I watched the first episode once. It was good. I think I don't really remember it, but I did. It is massive, as best as we can tell. This book on Audible that we read just now was 8 hours. This next one is going to be 32 hours. We are not meeting next week, so we do have plenty of time for that first reading. And I'm sorry I got it to everybody late. I really like struggled on choosing which book to choose, and I just think this is a solid bet, and I think it's something that can keep us busy for a while.
Yeah,
and it's another genre that like we all really enjoyed Midnight Circus, the Night Circus, and so even if it's not that, something in the same vein, I think is something we'll enjoy.
Cool.
Yeah. So
everyone sounds excited.
Yeah, we'll put out a syllabus today, but you do have 2 weeks of the first reading. It's gonna be big. I am also open to, if we can do the 3 weeks. And if as we get to like the second reading or whatever, we feel like it's too hard, we can expand it. Or we can do 10 hours a week, basically, you know?
Right.
That's doable. Yeah. Okay, we can talk about it later. Oh, very cool.
I'm glad y'all are excited about it.
Yeah, I'll talking about period piece, like that is like a interesting period in history to me. So I think everybody kind of enjoys that time, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
but we do.
Like to actually live in that time would be terrible.
Yeah, no thanks.
But
cool. Well, so go ahead and pick up your copy. We'll have a syllabus out later, and we will go from there. Oh yeah, y'all are teachers.
Oh yeah, happy
y'all are gonna have
end
fun.
of the school year, everybody! Yay, cool. You did it!
You did it!
You did it!
I think school here ended this week.
Yeah. Or last week.
Fair. It is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. I will go ahead and I'll make a short announcing that for everybody else, and then we'll have that syllabus up soon. You have anything else you want to say?
Happy reading.
Thank you all for being here. We were just talking today. I think this is like our 123rd episode. We really appreciate all of our regular folks for being here all the time, because we've really enjoyed this. It's been fun. It's like an integral part of our life, and we can't do things on Saturday nights anymore because we have to be up on Sunday morning to do this. So it's a good time. We enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
And like we're consistently reading, and most of what we've read has been really good. I think a couple of duds are The Price of Happiness in a book club.
Ooh, gold star. Dang. I think it's about opportunity cost. I could have been reading something else. Wow, that was...
Good one.
We got some meta jokes in here today.
All right.
You ready?
Bye.
Okay,
Happy
check
reading.
on the dog. Bye.